What's happening, everybody?
Hello.
This is Greg and Beth. Married life
Based on a true story.
based on a true story. Today, what are we talking about?
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Some adult content. So, for this episode, disclaimer:
It's going to be some real talk about sex.
earmuffs for the children.
Unless you have open conversations. Some families have very open conversations about sexual
I
relations.
know, but we're probably going to get into some.
Nah, I don't think too bad.
Nah, not too bad.
We're not going to get graphic or anything.
Nah, we're not going to talk about like anal sex or
So is that why we're wearing glasses
Yeah.
and a hat
anything.
today?
We're incognito. I
Incognito.
was going to put the fake beard on, but I've already got a beard. I was going to put the hair on
So that because of
from
the
episode like 4 or something.
because of
That's
the topic, you were trying to be undercover, Greg?
Cheers, guys.
Trying to be porn, Greg?
Porn Greg. Brown chicken, brown cow.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Welcome to the Bar is Open with Beth and Greg. I'm Greg, and that is Beth over there. And we're drinking some White Claws. It's a Saturday afternoon.
Yep.
We're just chilling.
Hot in San Antonio.
Hot.
Like
So
95 degrees this weekend.
when you
with
guys,
humidity.
Yep. When you guys think porn, what do you think about? Like, is it all internet porn? Is that what everybody thinks about nowadays?
I think so, probably. Like, you've got this little groovy thing in your hand.
Yeah.
Could be a little bit bigger thing in your hand. It could be a laptop. And
An iPad.
I think porn used to have to be paid for at one time. Like, you had to,
Right. Now it's just open,
Subscribe.
like you Google titties.
or you Google free porn.
Or just and it's just I think I should have looked up the statistic, but I think like 80% of the internet like bandwidth is based on porn. Something like that.
Is that a swag?
It's some ridiculous amount. Right? And I don't even need to look it up. It's something ridiculous like that. The vast majority of like today's internet
Use?
use and bandwidth and all the stuff that goes
Seriously?
into it is based on porn. Yeah. So when you think
All
about
right.
like, okay, how does it impact like a relationship? Right? But let's go way back before
Okay.
we get into that. Let's go way back.
Like, the first time,
Like what was the first time you ever saw, I don't want to say like a porn, like on TV or something like that. Or maybe it was like the booby scroll, you know what I mean? Like where you see like the fucking Skinamax. Remember how they used to say that?
do you remember when
mean, that was one of-
cable was a box
Mhm.
and you had to subscribe to channels? And those channels that you
A
didn't
fairly certain
subscribe,
cable is still a box, isn't it?
I don't know anymore. But you used to have to subscribe. If you didn't subscribe, it gave you the
Squiggly lines.
squiggly lines and the static.
And you'd see like a nipple here and there.
That's where I saw probably my first bit of porn.
But you didn't, there was no dongs on it.
No,
It was
I
always
just
a
saw
titty.
bodies,
a
or
titty.
it was boobs, or
Yeah.
two bodies together.
Yeah.
A lot of that porn back then was not all of it, but a lot of it was considered soft porn,
Yeah.
which
yeah,
they
yeah,
still do have soft porn
Mhm.
on those channels, which you don't see. You might see boobs.
Right.
That's all you
You
see.
see like a boobie or something,
Like
or an ass or something.
they could be having various types of sex, and you could tell they're having sex, but you don't see any parts.
Right.
It's not
So
graphic. by
first
any
time I
means.
ever saw a naked person, woman,
Right.
was literally, I think I was in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And there was like a construction site. And like, this is like, I think that's a stereotype, but it was like legit. And I was like, my friends and I were playing around, and like kids playing fucking like
Dumpsters.
dumpsters and shit like that. Oh, check this out. I mean, it's like a construction. It's not like a fucking.
Okay, keep going.
Anyway, found a magazine.
Okay.
Magazine. You're like, what is this?
Did you keep it?
What is this?
Did you like take it
No,
home and
we
put
left
it
it
under
there
your mattress?
because we're like, we'll get in trouble.
So
But we looked at some titties.
the first time I remember seeing actual porn was in middle school. I was probably in 7th or 8th grade, and it was a slumber party.
Yeah.
And one of the girls had like HBO, and it had the like. I don't want to say it was like Debbie Does, but it was one of those types of shows.
yeah, like an 80s kind of
Yeah.
something or other. Yeah.
Like
Debbie
porn
Does Dallas
show.
or something like that.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was like it was sexier than that. But it was like
It wasn't just-
Sophia
okay.
Does. I mean,
Oh, it had a story to it?
yeah, like it
had a
almost like had
storyline?
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember watching that with like 6 girls and being like, I don't know if we're supposed to be watching this.
But all the other girls were
2
like,
o'clock
it's
in-
okay.
It's 2 o'clock.
Well,
Well,
you're a good Presbyterian girl.
I mean, I think
who
we
didn't drink?
We were all probably like
Well,
that.
you didn't drink.
We didn't drink
till you
in
were like
7th grade.
29,
They did. None
so-
of them drank that night. We were 7th
No,
grade, 8th grade. But I remember thinking, "Ooh, we're doing something we're not supposed to. If
Breaking
her
the
mom walks out, are we ready to change the channel really quick?" Well, somebody's doing it doggy on the screen, doggy style on the screen. I'm like, my mother's gonna
Like,
kill me.
yeah, I'm not supposed to be watching
If
this.
Michelle's mom walks out here and catches us, she's telling all our moms, and my mom's gonna ground me for life.
Like, Mija,
Yeah.
you should have hidden yourself in the bathroom.
Should have gone to bed. No, but so that's probably the first time I saw real
Yeah,
porn.
it's kind of like, and then the first time I ever saw, like, of course, there was the Skinamax kind of like squiggly lines, like you had to have the unlock key or button or whatever it was, or code or whatever it was
Right.
to be able to actually
So
see
what
the
was
video.
that?
So a long time ago, late night, like your parent, it's kind of like you're like a child setting on your phone.
Okay.
Long time ago, there was like a code. You would have to have the code.
I think your parents had that.
No, my it wasn't. No, my parents were cheap as fuck. We never had
My parents didn't have that
Cinemax or HBO. We would get maybe we'd have like the trial for HBO
Yes.
and then it would go away
Right.
because they're like it's free this month, so we're gonna get it.
Right.
But HBO really didn't have it. That's why Cinemax was the one.
Skinamax.
Skinamax, right? So there was the first one, and then probably like when like I remember dial-up internet, of course, being a 12 or 13-year-old kid. Like we first got internet in New Hampshire,
Okay.
and it was like
AOL.
yeah, that bullshit, and it would take 20 minutes to download a picture. Yeah, and we had it was literally like if the fucking phone rang, it interrupts everything. You're like, what?
Well, our phone would be busy. If we were online.
But the thing was, our computer, like we didn't have individual devices like we have today, right? Our computer was in the living room. So I'm like,
okay.
what are you gonna do as a 13-year-old kid? You
Right.
can't like jerk off.
It was a
in
big
the-
old DOS computer,
well, just a
like,
fucking
as big as
big
this
old.
desk.
And my mom was ahead of her time in like computer stuff, right? Like I think she was anyway, and she always tried to keep up. And she loved computers, and
Right.
she was a typist. She took a typing class, and
Well, everybody's
she worked for the IRS, and she was good about it. She was really good about it, right?
Okay.
Trying to download a
Porn picture on that.
or like trying to get in. Now you're a girl, so you didn't do this, guys.
Don't decide that. Do what?
I bet you. Did you ever try? So back in a long time ago, like there was like AOL like chat groups a long time
Yeah.
ago. Did you ever do those?
No.
Yeah. See, boys did that stuff
Why?
because you wanted to get booby pictures.
Oh, they sent pictures that way.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Okay.
there, all of the, like a 13-year-old boys wants is like booby and butt pictures. That's it. You don't know anything else that exists.
Well, you're 13 and I'm 20 at this point, so I didn't
You
need
were-
chat groups.
You were in college.
I was.
That sounds really bad.
It does sound really bad, actually.
You're a cradle robber,
I was a
or
cougar.
you're a catch.
Yeah. Yes. Both. Cradle robber and I'm a cat.
So, flash forward, like let's say 20 years,
Okay.
right, or 15 years, something like that. I don't know. And then you get like full fucking internet, everything's rolling,
Right.
kind of pre these things,
Right.
right? And you've got DVDs.
Okay. So, did you ever watch those with anyone?
No. I mean, there would be like, so we did have, I did like my buddies, my close friends, I
Right.
won't name names. They had, so there was a beach house. and I
Oh,
won't
the
even-
box.
I won't even say the name
The
of
box.
the beach house because it's fucking offensive.
It's a sassy C word.
Sassy C word. Yeah. They didn't have a box. They had a trash bin,
Oh, trash bin. That's what it was.
like a 50-gallon
Box,
trash bin,
same
full
thing.
of porns, like just
Where
magazines.
did they come from? Oh,
I have
magazines.
no
Okay,
idea.
not videos.
Like I just rolled up to their house one day and they've got a
was it
trash
just
bin,
magazines or was there videos in
just
there?
magazines.
Oh, well, that's not.
But it was the
That's
fucking
porn
weirdest thing. I think
pictures.
it was like some dude at a construction site was like, "Hey, you want some porn?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they just
Got
literally
a
put
whole
it.
barrel full.
They
for
put
you.
it in the middle of the living room. I mean, it's
It was
a
a
party
joke.
house.
It was a joke, though.
Who knows?
So,
But DVDs came about.
okay.
I think VHSs, yeah. And I've got a story about it real quick. I'll tell you in a second about VHSs.
I never watched porn on VHS.
Weird story about this. I
Okay.
didn't even. Okay, so we'll just jump right into it, right?
Okay.
So I worked at a grocery store in Phoenix,
Mhm.
and I worked there for a long time.
Yep.
And you become friends with all the people in the different departments, and I don't even remember this dude's name, right? Little weird guy.
Okay.
quiet, whatever. And I was managing the customer service, the actual back in the day when grocery stores had video departments.
Okay.
We had one. I managed that. And little dude, he's like, hey, he's like, hey, you manage this. You want some videos or whatever? I've got a shit ton of them I'm getting ready to get rid of. I lived in Scottsdale at the time.
Okay.
And he lived kind of in like a fancier side of like nicer house, like his mom and dad
pleasure
were probably
area.
loaded.
Okay.
And he worked in the photo department. He worked in the photo department. And I'm like, yeah, sure, dude. I'm all about DVDs because it was DVD. This is like 99,
90s, yeah.
99, 2000,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
And I'm like, sure. And I lived with my girlfriend at the time, and I'm like, okay. So I rolled over to his house real quick.
So he was giving them to you personally, not for the store.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He was
right.
giving them to me personally, right?
All right.
Here, whatever. So I rolled over to his house. I'm like, cool. And it was kind of an odd thing. He had like shit tons of video games throughout his house, like big ass stand up video games. So like pinball machines. And video
Okay.
games. Like that was his whole downstairs.
Like his
It was-
basement?
no.
Or
Ranch style. Like his
Okay.
whole downstairs was video games. So the reason I'm getting to that, he was a unique fucker.
Okay.
Unique guy. So he comes out and he's got this basket of videos. VHS videos. I'm like,
What am I gonna play that on?
still 2000.
Okay.
Had a VCR.
Okay.
Do not own a VCR. I think there may be one in a closet over here somewhere. I think we still have one. But it's all porn. And I'm like, what the fuck? I thought I was getting like
Movies.
Die Hard
Yeah.
and fucking Lethal Weapon and like
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's all porn. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed
Maybe
to
he
do?
was hitting on you.
And I was literally like 21-ish.
Probably trying to hit on you a little
No,
bit.
he wasn't. He was into women. Like you could tell by the fucking videos. There was nothing.
I mean, maybe he was bisexual. He was wondering how you would
And I
react to it.
fucking I was like, all right, thank you. And
Oh,
I
you
just
took the whole thing?
I took the whole goddamn thing. I didn't know what to do. And I'd come home to my ex-girlfriend back then,
Right.
and I'm like, what in the fuck
Was
do
it
we do?
C or
with
the
this?
M ex-girlfriend?
C.
Okay.
And I'm like, what in the fuck are we supposed to do with this? She's like,
Throw it away.
no. I just threw it in the closet and fucking left it there. I was like, So, but I don't think I ever watched one with her, but I was like, it just sat there for 3 years before we broke up. And then when we broke up, I threw it all in the dumpster because I'm like, 3 years later, I was like, nobody has.
No.
Fucking.
So
It was
the first time
I'm certain that I've probably watched a lot of them.
I watched
quite
one with my
honestly.
ex.
Okay.
It was probably the middle. So we were married 11 years. It was horrible for 11 years, and we should have probably.
But
gotten
you watched the
divorced.
porn together.
But we did watch a porn. Probably I don't know, number 7 year in.
Were you trying to spice stuff up?
Yes.
You're like, come on, thimble dick, let's
Well,
go.
We only ever had sex when we made up, so it wasn't like
You had makeup sex.
we had makeup sex, but we didn't have regular sex. And so one day he was like, "Want to watch a porn?" I was like, "Where are we
Did
gonna
you
get it?"
stream it or did you
No,
go buy
we had
one?
a DVD. He went and bought a DVD, and I think we probably had it on for I don't know 15 minutes. But it
It was just BJ's at the beginning. Because
no, it was
every porn starts with a BJ.
yeah, no, absolutely.
Like nowadays, yeah.
It wasn't, but we got past that part. But I mean, and it did the desired effect, I guess. But it was so awkward. Like it wasn't at all like
Hot and heavy. It wasn't comfortable hot and heavy. It was
right.
just like awkward.
I mean, you got
hot
turned
and heavy.
on, but it was awkward turned
Yeah.
on. You're like, are we supposed to watch this? Or are we supposed to mess around? Like, what are we supposed to do?
Funniest
Once
thing
we
was-
start the video, then what?
Yeah, funny part is like when you watch it porn and then it's got a porn on in the background, you're like,
I've never seen that, by the way.
like it happens. Like you'll see it and you're like, why in the fuck? No, I'm supposed to wait a minute. Anyway, go on, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. And that's the only time I've ever watched porn with anyone. And I said, I'm probably not gonna do that again ever.
So you guys know we've never actually
We've never watched a porn
watched
together.
a porn together. Like we've never
Nope.
For whatever reason, we've just never watched
We
a porn
don't
together.
need to watch
Yeah.
a porn together. I guess I don't know.
We get
It just-
creative enough on our own and then we bring that together, I
right?
think.
Well, and
Like,
then
we're
I
not
read
crazy.
the sexy,
We're not-
sexy books, and that gives me ideas. And I'm like,
Sexy,
hey,
sexy
we should
books.
try this. So yeah, so I just never felt like we needed to, and it was so uncomfortable.
Like
but
it
I
was
was like-
forced. Like it wasn't like, hey, let's just turn on a porn. Like if it would be funny if like you just like if I threw one on the big screen TV,
Right,
the
and I
80
just
inch
walked in,
downstairs,
I'm like,
right, and you're like, what in the fuck? And I'm just like standing there naked, bongoing.
Bongoing.
Like fucking Matthew McConaughey, bongoing, smoking
Yeah.
a joint, which I don't smoke weed.
I still think that would probably be awkward.
No, I think you would be like, what in the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, awkward.
Just
awkward.
titties on the screen. Surround sound going through the house.
Okay, so
dogs running around,
does that
jumping
mean
off
you
couches.
do you watch porn by yourself?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not. I'm not.
I mean, I
There's
don't
no
want to.
shame in
I don't
here,
want
yeah.
to watch it with you,
I don't know. It's just like,
but I'll watch porn because we have very different schedules.
yeah, but we watch it and it's just like, yeah, like I'm up late. You go to bed early and you're up early.
Right.
Right. So for whatever reason, it's just like we never have, and it's just, but we're totally fine with it.
And so we have
We should probably try it sometime.
No, I'm
See how
okay.
awkward we can make.
No.
No, let's see what kind of rabbit hole we can go down.
No,
Dude,
negative.
'cause I guarantee, like we've had.
I don't need to
we've
watch
talked
furries.
about it in the
I
past.
don't need to
like,
watch cats.
like
I don't need
Blue
to watch.
Waffle,
I don't need
the
to.
whole
And I don't need
thing,
any
like
of that.
Two girls,
Nope.
one cup. Nope.
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 Um,
But I think a lot of people do.
together?
We have friends that absolutely do.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't know, and that's kind of a question for the audience. It's like, do you or don't
I mean,
you?
I'm not opposed. Like,
No, do you guys?
I
do
don't
if
need
you're very
to, but
comfortable,
if the two of you want to do it together, like, do you sit there and jack off in front of each other while you watch the porn, or do
I
you
don't
end
know.
up getting sexy together? Like, what is the etiquette of watching porn as a couple?
I don't know.
Neither do
We're gonna
I.
have to learn. So it's
Cool.
an interesting thing, though. So it's an interesting question. So it kind of goes along the line of like, hey, do you need that to? And we don't need that
No.
personally.
No.
That's just us, right? Some people need like the extra.
Well,
stimulation,
and
maybe? I don't know.
let's be honest. We had a
But dude, like the fucking American Medical Society or something like that came out and said, if a
bad.
dude jerks off like 21 times a month, he like significantly reduces
his testosterone drive
his,
or something.
his what cancer? Prostate cancer.
Okay.
Chances of getting prostate 21 times a month it's ejaculating. If you ejaculate 21 times a
Why?
month, it's just like, and this is like an 8-year study.
Is it a swag?
No, it's an 8-year study, right? And so you're like, okay, so if you have sex 7 times a month, or I don't mean,
No,
everybody's
that's not
different.
7. That's only 7 times. That's not
But you
21.
jerk off the rest of the time.
I mean,
So you jerk off 14 times a month. That's really not that hard. That's like every other day.
and
That's really not.
it's not hard.
It's not hard.
No.
Yeah, it takes for a dude. It takes literally like fucking 3 minutes.
Maybe for you, baby. Maybe not for everyone.
If you're spending that much time with yourself, get a hobby. Like it doesn't take that long. Like you don't need rose petals on the bed. You just go to the fucking restroom,
No.
pound one out real quick,
Okay.
and get it done.
All right.
Girls,
I don't
like
need
what's your average time?
5 minutes.
See, exactly.
Unless I'm watching porn.
Oh, and then you start scrolling.
No, well, yeah,
You do it on the iPad or on the iPhone?
iPad. Come
iPad.
on.
You need
It's
a
got a
little
bigger screen.
See, it's just the phone. Yeah.
But even then, I'll probably watch.
And it's normally when I'm at like jujitsu.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Some shit.
I have dates with myself on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm not afraid. I love myself.
Goddamn right.
Um,
Okay, and everybody should, right?
I'll watch, and I'll probably watch longer than it takes. Like I'll
Like, you
watch,
kinda
and then
get
at a
into it a little-
certain
Because
point,
you know you have time.
right?
Because you're
I'll-
like, Greg's gonna be gone
for 2 hours.
2.5 hours. Like I
So
got time.
I'll watch, and
Little
then at a
stealth
certain point, I'll be like, "Oh yeah,"
That's
you know
the
what I'm
one.
saying? Like,
That's the
but
one. It's totally
but
fine.
it still
yeah.
only takes
5 minutes. To
5
finish.
minutes. So
Yeah.
even if I do it twice,
10 minutes in, 8 minutes in, something like that.
10
right?
minutes into a 30-minute session, or 10 minutes of a 30-minute session.
Yeah.
You know. So, but
If you got to get business dialed in and done.
oh yeah, like
If you got to get business done, you're like, hey,
I need 3
to-
minutes.
I need 3 minutes.
I need 3
I'll
minutes.
be back in a minute. Hey, honey, can you watch the steak? I'll be right back.
Are you
The
going to get
chicken's
coffee?
cooking. You want to get coffee? You run into Starbucks real quick? Get me a mocha frappuccino.
Take the dogs with you.
Take the dogs with you. Oh, fuck. That's your Saturday. Hey, why aren't you taking the dogs? Close the door, honey. They're fine by
Oh, I
themselves.
think I might be blushing a little bit.
That's why you're wearing them sunglasses.
But I also think that, I mean, we had a point in our marriage where,
We had a fucking serious low.
yeah,
We've been together for 17 years.
17 years.
Right. And this is
think-
something to be honest with yourselves about. It's like
I think
we
we
literally
loved each other, but we were more
were
like
friends.
best friends.
Like best friends.
Yeah.
And it was weird, and I think we both understood what was happening, and we didn't know how to kind of
And
overcome
I don't
it.
even know how we actually like.
I think we just
one day we
had
just
sex. Like one day we were just like, fuck this.
and we still didn't have it all the time. We had it
just
occasionally
started.
When I started reading these fucking
So
books.
literally, we went like a couple of years.
Yeah,
almost.
probably like 3 or 4 years where like we were having sex like once every.
couple months almost,
Yeah,
something like that. It
like-
was just a weird kind of lull, and it happens. I think that so like if you're in
I mean,
that,
we're not the first person to say this out loud. We've had friends tell us this
yeah.
too. Like,
So I mean, if you're in that lull,
do what you got to do.
do what so. And I'm not saying like just it's like I don't know. It's
here's
a
the thing.
complicated situation.
So I had always heard
7-year.
No.
or-
What I had always heard was women who read romance novels had 10 times more sex than women who didn't. Fucking amen.
It worked.
It totally like
I don't know why, and it wasn't me, and it was you.
It was totally me instigated.
like fucker.
I don't even.
Not in a
you
bad
just,
way.
You just picked up on it. Like
Yeah.
you were like, "Oh, you've been reading, huh?" But that's what finally even stopped that lull. Like that's where it became more consistent. And so I always said that's bullshit. People have sex if they want to have sex. Well, absolutely. But when you got it on your mind a lot more, you're more driven to have it.
Yeah.
And so that definitely kind of
Pushed a
sparked
little bit
things up
more.
for us.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, it was like we absolutely love each other.
Yes.
Like even during the lulls, we've had ups and downs. We've had all sorts of like any relationship you have
like
ups and downs.
all marriages.
Yeah.
It's easy and not easy.
And we had some really hard times, and we've had some really easy times. Right? Not. I don't want to say really easy. Like
We've had easier times and we have more hard times.
right,
but
right,
yeah.
right. But yeah, it was an interesting kind of like
Just
pickup. Right? It
started
changed something, and it was like when when you started doing that. And I swear to God, it was when you started reading the fucking 50 Shades of Grey
100%. Because that was the very first romance novel I ever read.
Right. And then the book, then the movies, and then
I watched the movies,
and then you
I read the
started
book,
like
yeah.
going like and watch and rereading.
Well, because then I was
doing all
finding
this.
them.
Then you got into that,
Yeah.
which is totally fine. I'm like,
Well, and I read all gamuts. I mean, I read from just very romantic to like seriously erotic. So I read the gamut of romance novels.
Right.
And
it's a hobby almost, but it actually helped us.
Yes, agreed. And I always thought it was bullshit, but they knew what they were talking about. Then when they said women who read romance novels have 10 times more sex than women who don't. We
had a question last night. We did a podcast last night.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, like,
does it give you unrealistic?
Does it give you unrealistic expectations? Like, what do you think?
So here's you got to give me a minute.
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
As I read these books, sometimes I'm like, this is such bullshit. They like fall in love or they like each other. Like the book I'm reading right now, it's literally happening over a 4-day period. I'm like, that's such bullshit. But then in the back of my head, I'm like, give it up, Castro. It's a book. They can't have it
Suspend
take
a little
on.
bit of reality.
And so I think you have to be realistic about it. Like when you read it, like we talked about it, when they shove them up against the wall and they're doing all these things to them while they have one hand underneath them, holding their
like
butt
you'd have
up.
to have 4 hands. To do all this shit.
And I'm like, I just don't think a man would be able to do that. So you've kind of got to take it with a grain of salt. But
and it's coming out of the writer's mind.
Yeah, no, completely.
Right.
Yeah. And so I don't think it sets unrealistic expectations unless you allow yourself to believe in unrealistic.
Yeah.
Activities.
The only romance novel that I have ever read
have been Ross Patterson's.
have been St. James Street James.
Yeah.
Romance novels
For men.
dudes.
Yes.
So go check out those books by Ross Patterson.
So
You're welcome
for me, now have they given me ideas?
So that's
Yes.
that's what the takeaway is from some of those. Like
Right.
you're like, you have been a little bit more. I'm not saying slutty or anything. It's just
No, daring, out of my comfort zone. Hey,
I'm
we should
trying to
try
think of
this.
the word, but it's like, yeah, daring or something like
Give me
that.
the
And I'm not
definition.
saying that in a bad way. Like we're
No.
not sticking
I'm
things in
a little
things
bit more
that don't belong there.
courageous
Yeah, but it's like, yeah,
with telling you what.
that's what I'm. Yeah, like,
What? Hey,
do this.
Try this.
Try this.
We should try this.
Yeah.
We should buy this to try this. You
Yeah.
know. So yeah.
Right.
So I
We
mean,
still don't own the sex wing.
no.
I have
we
to
should get one,
reinforce the
though.
goddamn.
We should get one though. I
have
think
to
I
call
feel
it
like that might be
goddamn.
fun. But here's the thing too: is we still
I could build
don't.
one. I got a shit ton of pallets out back.
We
Just
still
build one.
don't like. It's not like
We're not crazy.
we're dripping sex every night,
No.
because again,
We're busy. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday
but most weekends we do make it a point
to take
to have a night.
an hour, 2 hours. whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, and I think that's where
I mean, that's
because
a big thing. It's
I
like,
do
at least
remember
make some time.
reading something about like how do you improve your sex life, and it said schedule, and I was like, oh, that's so unromantic. But in a world of reality,
Like, we're busy.
we're
We're busy.
busy, busy,
Even though
busy.
we work at home and we're together
But we
all
have
the time.
hobbies, and we have
Life.
dogs, and
Yeah.
we have
Like, and
responsibilities.
beyond that, like, I can't imagine having kids.
No.
Like, put kids in. Like,
how
in
people
the
have
fuck
time to do anything besides take
put
care
those
of your
kids to bed like at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. I don't give a fuck. Or midnight. I don't give a fuck if
No,
you're
9
sleepy.
o'clock.
I'm just saying, like, if take the hour, lock
figure a
yourself
night,
away.
figure a night, and make
That's
it
what we
happen.
try and do. I mean, we literally have to close the door because we have
3 dogs.
We have 3 dogs.
Have you ever had sex and a dog watch you like?
It's the creepiest.
What are you doing to
Ever
mom?
had sex and the dog licks your toe?
No. Have you?
Yeah.
Has our dog licked your toe before?
Not
Alright.
these ones.
Okay.
Jackson.
Oh. What are you doing to my
I didn't
mom?
own the
mister?
dog. It was her
was my
dog,
dog,
and
my
then it
golden.
became ours.
But they do. They
I didn't
stare
know to
at you.
shut the door. And then
They
I
stare
also
at
had
you.
an asthma attack at the same time.
They
so-
stare at you, and you're like,
Is he judging me?
no, he's totally judging us.
He's like, mine's bigger than yours.
He's
Like,
like,
goddamn right it is. You're a fucking 90-pound golden retriever.
so we're always like, out.
So
close
what do
the
you
door.
got? And it comes down to like, hey,
I mean,
like-
sex should be fun. It should be funny.
that was kind of, yeah, it absolutely is. It should be fun, funny. Like you can have, it doesn't have to be fucking serious.
No,
anymore.
like if you try something
We
and it
goof
doesn't
off.
work,
All the time. We used a
You can
lube
laugh
one
at each
time
other.
and we totally fucked up. Remember?
no.
And you were like, that doesn't taste right.
Oh yes.
And it was
yes,
like,
yes.
Oh, that's
was
for
the wrong-
numbing. Whoopsie daisy.
So I
So,
mean, you just gotta.
Be careful too.
And we do laugh. I mean, you'll try to do something and be like, "What the hell are you thinking, buddy? Back off!" You know. So
Saw it on the internet.
it's yeah.
So try. I think that's
just have
what.
some fun.
So I think that's where.
Get out of your own mind.
So we've been together for 17 years. Like back 17 years ago when we were having introductory sex, we were banging like fucking. You
Teenagers.
know, I was like fucking flexing, and now I'm like,
I threw up my back.
fuck, right? Yeah, like I've actually
Hashtag
like
true story.
it's actually happened. I'm like,
I think I
nope,
just threw my
nope.
back out.
I'm just gonna finish. I'm just done. Like I'm not gonna finish. I'm just fucking. I need
We're
to stay
done.
here. Yeah, we're just done.
I gotta
You're
lay
like-
down now.
You're
My
like,
back hurts.
honey, you're 36 years old. I'm like, I know.
No, 46.
No, that was when it happened.
Oh,
like 10
well,
years ago.
No, it's happened since then too.
I'm throwing my back out. And,
Yep, on the couch, on the little baby couch in our bedroom.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot about that. See, it happens. But again,
And we laughed. I mean, we literally
laughed.
at least this last time, we laughed our asses off after I made sure you were okay.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm just gonna lay down on the floor for a second. I'm like, oh my god.
Can you get me the little roller thing? Like the fucking, I'm just going to roll here naked and try not to catch my
Just
balls
like-
underneath the thing.
Trying so hard not to laugh because I know you're uncomfortable, and then turning around and being like, it's back out. That's awesome.
Literally have fun. Have fun with each other. And that's
Well,
gonna be the
and
thing.
put your barriers down and don't judge each other. I think that's the biggest key.
So a lot
like,
of, I think, so body, like image, self-image or self
body
what do you-
image.
or yeah, self-confidence in your body. It's like, hey, we're all shapes and sizes. Like I've gone through it, you've gone through it, right? And it's like, hey, we accept each other. It's
Yeah.
like, it doesn't matter.
Well, and then when I ask you questions about like if this looks funny or this looks weird, you're like, no, it's beautiful. You know, you don't.
Yeah. We're literally going through life together. It doesn't matter. So to you guys out there, I hope you have a fucking fun
Well,
sex life,
love each other.
right? Love each
Because
other. Have a
here's
fun.
the thing.
Even if you don't, even if you're casually, just be safe. Do all the smart
Yep.
things. Don't fucking do whatever. But I'm not going to judge you if you want to
Right.
fucking have.
So here's the
Whatever.
thing that I have noticed, and I think I've talked to you this before. I can tell because sometimes we're so busy, or we have company, or we're
Saturday
Camping
nights, like
or-
the nephews and niece are over here. We're like, fuck.
till 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm not having sex
No.
with you after 12 p.m. 12 a.m. It's just not going to
Well,
happen.
because it's normally like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Sometimes it's way too long. That's why I'm like, just one time, and then
Because
we're
we're
done.
playing and hanging out. And doing other stuff.
But I can tell a difference in how we treat each other.
Yeah.
When we
There's more
haven't.
respect.
Well, it's
Not
not even
is that
respect.
the right thing
It's
to say?
more endearment. Like you still call me.
Compliance.
No, it's you still call me
Just kidding.
baby, and you
Just
smack
kidding,
my
like,
butt, or you like tell
smacked
me
your
you
ass
love
earlier.
me more, or you have more patience even. So I think that's. I mean, sex definitely plays
Makes
a
sense.
role in how
Yeah.
you treat each other because that's a connection
That you can't get any other
that
way.
you can't get any other way. So I think it's definitely important that you're honest with your spouse. First of all, like I just watched a Roman commercial literally right before this. It's the co-founder and CEO of Roman. He's probably 43, and he started this because he had ED and he finally eventually had a conversation.
That's another thing. If you're a dude, don't be afraid.
Of that.
There are companies like I've used Roman.
Roman.
If you get whiskey
apparently
dick or
happens
something
to a
like that, like
lot
it can happen
to a lot of people.
Whiskey
But
dicks are
he
everything.
said, whiskey dicks is too much alcohol.
Yeah.
But he was sweet because he was like, our relationship was
Be honest with
changing
each other.
because of
Yeah.
this. And finally, one day I just decided to have a conversation with her, and I wanted to be very frank because, and it's true, we've had this conversation. Is there something wrong with me? Is there something?
Yeah, like it's like
and he was like,
I'm
"No,
40 years
I love
old,"
you.
or
You're
whatever.
beautiful." And he said, "I love her. She's the most beautiful person in the world to me." It had nothing
That's
to
a
do
big
with
thing.
her.
So that can help. That can absolutely fucking crush your self confidence.
Oh,
And then on top of that, it makes you embarrassed to like want to have sex.
right.
Because you're like, am I going to fail?
Am I going to fail?
or
And then
something
if
like
you
that?
fail, I automatically start thinking, okay, what's wrong with me?
Right.
Why aren't I doing it
Right.
for
And
him
we've
anymore?
talked through this shit
Oh, yeah.
over the years. Like, fucking, there's absolutely been times where I'm like, yeah, it's just not going to happen tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
it's
and the
just
same
like,
thing for me.
and
Like,
it's normally I've had like 5 or 10
and I'll
of
tell
these
you,
or whatever.
I don't like
just not
having
gonna
sex after I've had
Right.
alcohol because
It just,
there's
you
no
don't get the
fulfillment for
same-
me.
yeah.
Yeah,
So be honest with yourselves, but be realistic with yourself. as well.
and be kind to
same
each
with
other.
us. Like we're like you don't have to nut or come to completion or have an orgasm just to. You can actually just fucking have sex and not do
Enjoy
that,
each other.
and just enjoy each other and
Right.
have fun and fucking
Right.
whatever. Flick the bean, tip the potato,
Tip the potato.
right?
You just made that bitch up,
I
didn't
did.
you?
Tip the potato.
You called your wiener a potato?
Could be
That's scary for me. Let's not call it a
more
potato.
like a string bean.
It's not a string bean either. It's like a cucumber.
Fuck yeah, I'll take that one. More like a pickle.
Eggplant.
Like a little pickle.
An eggplant.
Like a little. That's not a little pickle. It's a medium-sized pickle.
So yeah. So I mean, it's part of who we are. We were made this way for a reason.
Yep.
So,
Accept yourself. Do your thing.
and if somebody can't have an orgasm or go to completion, realize it's not you. Don't
Yeah,
allow
fucking-
yourself
absolutely.
to think it's
don't
you.
be like,
That's
hey,
the important piece.
self-confident. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not.
Don't
yeah.
allow. And I've read that so many times that women are like,
Self-
why?
conscious
What am
of,
I doing wrong?
Am I
Nope,
not pretty enough?
It's,
Am I not
it's
hot
on,
enough? Am I not
it's
doing
on the
something right?
person that's not
Yeah.
having something
Yeah.
occur, whether it be the man or
You
the
can try
woman.
and help them. Try and help them through it.
But it's not on you.
Yeah.
That's ownership. That's
There
on
could be
them.
stress.
That's them.
There's all these other fucking
Well,
outside.
for both sexes. I mean,
That's what
it's
I mean,
just
yeah.
so just one day at a time, but make sure you're doing it,
Do
doing
it,
it, and
do
doing
it,
it, and
do
doing
it.
it.
That's it.
All right, guys.
That's our sexy show.
All right.
Catch you next time.
See you guys. See you
Yeah.
later.
Bye.